concentrate. Ever since I met you, nothing feels the same. Everything I do with you just feels right. 'Cause you know that I can't get you off my mind. I just wanna be here with you all the time. Nothing's new. You still make me feel the way you do. I'm your fool. Take a little bit of me, 'cause baby all I want is you. Nothing's new. Even though we're far apart, I think of you. Sometimes it's the only thing that gets me through the day. Everything I do with you just feels right. 'Cause you know that I can't get you off my mind. I just wanna be here with you all the time. Nothing's new. You still make me feel the way you do. I'm your fool. Take a little bit of me, 'cause baby all I want is you. Nothing's new.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Tuesday Night Studio Sessions. My name is Sean. I'll be your host. I'm back. I enjoyed my month off in May. I feel like it's been about a month. I did the first week in May, and then this is the first week in June. So I took a month off to kind of cleanse my mind. YouTube has been something that has been it's become a chore, and I feel like it's become a chore because work has been insane, and I got laid off on Monday. So I was anxious and worried about nothing. So I went on a mission trip last week to Black Mountain, North Carolina. It's about one exit off over from the Biltmore Estates. So if you guys know where that's at, that's kind of the area that I was in. And our youth group went on a mission trip over there to serve an orphanage for troubled. Well, they're not troubled children. They're children from troubled situations. So, like, if the parents go to jail and their kids end up going into the foster system, a lot of the kids that are at this orphanage, their parents are still alive. They just either don't want them or can't take care of them or something like that. So it's a ministry that is dear to our church. Our church has gone and served at this ministry several times. But back in September, they had a horrible mudslide. So it was Hurricane, I believe, Hector. I don't have all the details yet. I haven't really written the script of what I'm going to do with those videos, but they're anyway, they were hit really, really hard. My job on the mission trip was I kind of documented everything. So I got to film all week, and it was wonderful. And the thumbnail for this live stream is my Canon C200. I had cameras that probably take a better picture at this point, since that camera is about 10 years old. But that camera, um, the SD card on that camera it recorded two. So the capacity on that card was 200, and I believe it was like 280 minutes, and I recorded 250 minutes on the trip. So I didn't have to change the SD card that entire trip. Battery would last all day. So I would only have to charge the battery each night. And so I do have other cameras that take a better picture, but to be honest, that camera is a beast. But since I've been back, I think I am going to sell all the cameras I have, keep the VR camera, and I noticed that the DJI 4D, the Ronin 4D, which is the cinema camera with the gimbal on the front, it's $5,000 right now. So I have a couple cameras that I could probably get 1,500 out of. Anyway, and I know, like, you guys are like, oh my gosh, he doesn't even have a job and he's still spending money like mad. I think when I was on that mountain, I did some soul searching. I did some praying, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to have a job when I got back. And, I just kind of made peace with God, and I was like, I want to do this. I kind of want to do video. Now I have a severance package that's going to last me about 3 months. So if I get a job before then, I might just get a job, just so I can take some of that severance and buy a nice camera with it. And then get a couple gigs that will pay that camera off, and so on. But I want to start out this live stream by saying the reason I got pissed off and left was the politics that were going on in my chat. So I just want to I want to say at the beginning, I know there are some people in our country that love what's going on and some people that hate what's going on in our country. But I don't want any of that on my live stream. If you want to have a personal conversation, we can do that. But I honestly do not want any politics on here. Yeah. And also, like, I want to talk about my, being laid off. A lot of people, when they lose their job, they go into fear mode, or they go into like freak out mode. I have lost my job maybe 4 times at this point. I always stay longer than I'm needed. I always give 110%, and I have a lot of friends or colleagues that will get a job and then they'll stay there for 2 years, and as soon as the job gets kind of weird, they just leave. I'm a person that has a lot of patience, and so I tend to stay. In situations longer than I need to be in those situations. And it came to the point where I was just trying to hold the company together. And I say hold the company together. I was really trying to hold our process together. For those of you that don't know, I'm a UX engineer, or at least I was at my last job. Don't know if I'll be a UX engineer at my next job. I've got a lot of skills that can translate to many types of jobs. So I could go graphic design, I could go video production, I could go, I even thought about like just getting my Part 107 and starting to do kind of what Original Adobo does, and just become the best real estate videographer in Tennessee. I feel like I could do that pretty easily. But I also don't want to start my own company and do all that either. So I would like to be a part of a large real estate group. Um, but so anyway, there's that plan. I could be a web designer. I could be a graphic designer. I could go into marketing. I've got a lot of skills um, that kind of gives me an edge over uh, the other members on my team. Um, so they laid off. So when I was on the mission trip, I got a call Thursday from a buddy of mine on my team that said that they laid off our entire team except for me. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I thought they might have a reason for keeping me on, maybe because I'm the one that knows where everything is and they just want to keep me on long enough to uh, let them know where everything is, and then they're going to lay me off. So, but I'm not motivated by fear. I'm never motivated by fear. And so, I was at peace with it. I was almost kind of happy about it. And then when I got back on Monday, I had a meeting, a one-on-one with my director at 9:30 in the morning. And so I just went out and got a sausage biscuit, enjoyed my coffee. Didn't have any meetings because I didn't have a team anymore. So all my meetings got canceled for the Monday morning. And then I noticed that meeting showed up and it said, you're, here's an important meeting, important information about your role, organizational changes, and feel free to take the rest of the day off. So when I saw that the message on there said, take the day off, I was like, yeah, I'm getting laid off, because I've been laid off before. I kind of know what's going on. And, but what's kind of neat is I've got so much pay coming to me. I'm not going to go into the details, but so I got the news on June 9th. My last day is July 9th. So they gave me, so the termination date I'm really still working there for another month. But they cut off my computer and my access to everything Monday. So I'm still getting a full paycheck through July 9th. And then July 9th starts my severance, which is going to be about 3 months of nothing. 3 months of like, my life is normal. So, so I essentially get 4 months because they told me just not to work anymore. So I was like, sweet. So I'm taking the next couple weeks to get my mind. I just want to make sure that I'm in a healthy spot to go find another job. I'm happy that I don't have to deal with I don't have to deal with the contractors that we were working with. Now, my next job, that might be my job, but I'll be okay with it because that's my job. What happened at my current job is we had a team that was handling all the user experience, and and then they just decided to start using contractors from India, and we were starting to not be a part of meetings and all this kind of stuff. And it was just kind of weird. So don't particularly enjoy those situations. So, but going into a new job, I'll have a specific role. So, and I really want to get paid kind of what I've been getting paid, but money is not the most important thing to me. So I will gladly take a job with less pay if I'm happy in that job. So as long as my wife and my children are fed, and I get to buy a camera and a drone here and there, I just might not be able to buy as many as I've bought in the past. There are times in my life when I've been out of control when it comes to spending. And I'm in debt right now because of this YouTube channel. But if I get a job before my severance is over, I can literally just take one of those paychecks and take several of those paychecks and knock my debt out. So, yeah. So I'm going to go through roll call. First of all, I want to thank you, Brent, for giving me $4.99. That'll really come in handy in the next several months. I'll use that to buy a lottery ticket, and then maybe I'll be independently wealthy for the rest of my life. No. But I did some, well, let's go through roll call first. I want to say hello to y'all because I haven't really done this in a month, and I miss y'all. So, East Coast Thrills, number 1. I think he left this comment like a couple hours ago. And I noticed that on the live chat for the live stream, I don't know if you guys can see this or if I can see it. I'm the only one that can see this, but it has numbers by everybody's name. So it's got East Coast Thrills has number 1, Eat More Possum, which is number 2. And then Steven Drones went back to number 1. So I don't know if it's who's chatted the most in my live streams. But anyway, and then it's got Ray Kelly as number 3. So I don't know if anybody can move up in the chain. So like East Coast Thrills, Dusty commented first. And so he was the king, number 1. And then Eat More Possum was number 2. And then Steven Drones commented, he was nothing. And then he commented again and became number 1. So he chatted twice. And then Eat More Possum moved up, stayed to number 2. Then Eat More Possum moved up to number 1 because he chatted 4 times in a row. So it'll be interesting to see who the king of the night is by the end. And so maybe I'll just say that. But let me know in the chat if you guys can see that little icon. And I'll give you an idea of what it looks like. Okay, well, never mind. I don't need to show you guys what it looks like because you guys said that you see the numbers. Sweet. So that's your challenge. No, I'm just kidding. You're going to drive me nuts if you guys compete. But Steven Drones is in the house. What's up, Steve? Hope you're having a good night. Who else do we got? Ray Kelly is in the house. What's up, Ray? I hope you're having a wonderful night. I saw you. I see pictures of you all the time on Facebook of you like in different places watching concerts. Actually, I saw your, was it Easter? Did you go to a sunrise service on the ocean on Easter, like on the dock? I feel like that was you. I thought that was really cool. So. And then I saw you, I always see you like at dinner with friends and stuff like that. So Ray Kelly's in the house. Charles Galuski, hello. Hope you're having a good night. Who else do we have? Brent's liking my new logo. I've been playing with it. I'm still going to play with it a little bit more. I have been using ChatGPT for about a week, just telling it to give me ideas. And so on the trip to Black Mountain, there was a bunch of farm animals on the hill that we were working on. and there were some Rams on there, and I was like, I really like their horns. So I decided to add Ram horns because my current logo, well, my logo last week, is very wide, and I kind of wanted to get it back to like a square, um, to occupy more of a square space. So that's where we're at with the new logo. And then I think I'm really going to stick with the font because I like how condensed it is. Foxhorn is kind of a long word. But so Charles Gillespie's. I appreciate that, Ray. Um, yeah, I want to leave this planet better than it was when I got here. So that's my goal. My goal's been to um, surround myself with positive people, but I also want to be one of those positive people that other people surround themselves with. And I want um, I want to focus on my obituary, not my resume, which is kind of odd because I just lost my job, so I really need to focus on my resume right now. But the what you do with your life, um, and if you work on your obituary, like the people that show up at your funeral, I want people at my funeral to say I did good things. I don't want like people that I worked with. They're not going to be at my funeral, and I honestly don't really care how they view me or how they see me. Um, I'm not going to kiss up to anybody. I'm not going to be, um, one of those people that steps on other people to get ahead. That's not me. So I want to always bring joy to the people around me. Um, and that would bring me joy. So I appreciate your kind words, Ray. Jim's in the house. Welcome, Jim. Hope you're having a good night. Who else we got? Ray Kelly, Jim, Ecos. I'm trying to read what you guys said too, but I'm going through it quickly because a lot of it, a lot of your comments are just talking to each other. So I will grab some freelance work, but I can't sustain my life on freelance. I've tried that several times. And if you go to SeanIdeStudios.com, or maybe it's just SeanIde.com at this point, that is me kind of opening up the floodgates to, and I'll probably put it out on Facebook. I'll be like, if anybody needs some, graphic design or web design or anything like that, while I look for a job, I might take on some of those jobs. Because it would be really nice to be out of debt by the time I get a new job. So let's see, this has probably been answered already, but UX is user experience, and how user experience works is, and I'm in software development. There's UX and other things, but the user experience of the software, we would go through and show software to users and research, ask them questions about, okay, is this button kind of in the right place? Or, if you were going to, like I was in healthcare, so if you were going to input someone's information, how would you do it? Is there anything on the screen that you never use? Those types of things. And then we would take that, and I would build a prototype of a new software, up-to-date UI, up-to-date user interface, those types of things. And then what an engineer does is I actually would build and a lot of prototypes would be like a static picture of an application. And then I would take that standard page and make it function make the buttons work, go to other things like that. And then that would be handed off to developers to actually build the application. So I kind of build the blueprint and make the blueprint function. But what I did in my last job was I designed the I can't even think what it's called. I need to get my ducks in a row before I go on a job interview, though. But I created the design system, which laid out all the different colors. This is the color red that you use for warnings. This is or for showstoppers. This is the color yellow you use for warnings. This is the blue you use for information. Those types of things. These are the type of icons you use. This is the padding and the margins and all that stuff. So that's kind of what I did. Ray said I could be a polite police officer. Um, do I need to go through training to be a police officer? Actually, with um, I don't know that I don't know that I could be a police officer. I feel like I don't know. I don't know that I'd be good at enforcing laws. I'm definitely good about. I definitely know the laws, and I get frustrated when I see laws being broken. But I don't know if I'd be a good enforcer. Um, so Chuck's in the house. What's up, Chuck? Hope you're having a good night. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I've never. Um, Actually, the last time I got laid off, I went and drove Uber for I think maybe 5 or 6 months, and I I would sit in the car, or every ride that I took, I would ask the people what they did for a living, whether they liked it, and I got a lot of good advice and a lot of bad advice, or I guess sad situations where people really hated what they did. Um, and when I got my new job, or when I got the job that I just lost, um, my pay was doubled, was twice as much as the last job that I had. Um, I had just made it to 3 weeks vacation in my job before that, and I ended up getting 3 weeks vacation right off the bat. Um, and it was a job that I was listened to. The job before that, I was a doer, and everybody told me what to do, and it was just kind of a sad existence. But the job that I just came from, I was able to create the design system. I was able um, to kind of run a lot of things. So that's kind of what I'm looking at moving into. Um, but thanks, Chuck, for that. CT Pirate, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good night. I won your shirt at the South Florida Drone Meetup, and it is one of my new favorite shirts. So I'm actually thinking about going with um, I forget what the name of the company that was on the tag, but it was that octopus company, Ink something. So I'm looking into making shirts because I love that shirt. It's very comfortable, and I like that it has logos on the front. You got information on the front and the back. Um, so just so you know, it's one of my new favorite shirts. um, Ray likes the new logo. I appreciate it. I really like your logo. Um, I every time I wear that shirt, I kind of see new things on the logo. I really like the how it's symmetrical, but it's not at the same time. Um, I really like it. So I don't Perry Aaron Speed. What's up? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. Do I know you in person? I know a couple of Pearies. Um, but welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. Um, so Chuck said, I love the logo too. I was using Teespring, but they seem to be struggling with production at the moment. I'm open to suggestions. I've used Printful. Printful uses, I can get embroidered hats through Printful, but you've got to use Etsy to sell them. So I kind of don't like that part. And then I use Spreadshirt. Spreadshirt is great. It's what I've done, used for years. I've learned how to add multiple logos to the same shirt. And it's basically through a custom order. So I can't add them to a current. Like I can't add it to the store, a shirt with two logos on it. But a friend of mine, um, he's got a beef farm, and I made him shirts on Spreadshirt just using his logo and set it up for him. And then I made a logo that said Farm Crew on the back of it. And the way I did it was I created a sticker that just said Farm Crew, and then that uploaded the logo to the database. And then so on the back, you can add a custom graphic and you can pull from the designs that have been uploaded. And so that was how I got that to work. But I'm still recovering from the trip. My I think I'm allergic to North Carolina a little bit. But I want to show you guys some of the things I did on the trip. The first time, so I used slow down, Sean. I used my Air 3S. The two cameras that I used the most were my Air 3S and my DJI Air 3S and my Canon C200. The month before the trip, I got a couple L lenses from Canon, which are the higher end lens. I got EF lenses because that's what my C200 takes. But with an adapter, I can also use those lenses on my Canon R5C. So, so I got that. And I ended up, the cheapest cage that I could find for my C200 was a shoulder rig that I just basically bought the shoulder rig. Since the camera is an old camera, it's pretty easy to find old things for it that are pretty cheap because they still sell that camera brand new. But which, um, but anyway, so I had a cage on it, and I put two handles on it. And so I kind of held it like this the whole time. Because it's so heavy, you don't need a gimbal. I got really, really good handheld footage from the camera. And then my Air 3S, I've got 6 batteries for it. So I was able to um, film several things. It's the first time I ever did a hyperlapsed mission. Um, and I've got mixed feelings about it, but I want to show you what I did with it and um, let me know what you guys think. Um, so one of the things I'm going to show you is the mudslide that I took um, tonight. But let me share this video real quick. Hopefully this will come through. Um, all right. So this is the hyperlapse that I took. I'm going to go ahead and start it over so I can talk about it. Whoa. Okay. It was very jerky. And I don't know if it's because um, the battery died. Well, I mean, the battery didn't die, but when I brought it back to me, maybe I didn't let it process or something like that. But yeah, I used one battery to create the mission, and then I used the other battery just to record the time lapse. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna play this, and you can see it kind of jerks. And maybe I just flew too far. Like I did too many things in the hyperlapse because what I really wanted was you could see shadows of the clouds on the mountains, and I thought it would be awesome to do that with a hyperlapse. What I should have done is I should have moved. Um, I shouldn't have flown around this much. I should have just uh, went from one side of the mountain to the other side of the mountain. You know, you can see the clouds moving back there pretty fast. So that is kind of the stutter. I'll play it one more time just so you guys can see it. Um, but then I put it into Final Cut Pro, and um, Final Cut Pro has this thing called smooth slow motion. Um, when I recorded this hyperlapse on the DJI Air 3S, it was 25 frames per second. So putting a video in that's 25 frames per second, you can't really um, slow it down very well, right? Um, so any slow motion that you do has to be fake. So I'm going to show you this next video, and the smooth slow motion. I wanted to see what Final Cut Pro could do. So what I did with this next video is I took the exact same. No, all right. I'm just going to stop looking at the chat. The So I took the same. It was also very windy, so I kind of feel like that had something to do with it. But so I took the same hyperlapse and I put it in Final Cut Pro, and I put a 10% slow motion, smooth slow motion on it. So slowed it down to 10%. So, and then what smooth um, so what the smooth slow motion does is allows the it does like an optical flow between frames. So it'll take a frame and then it'll it'll automatically blend. So I want to show you guys what this did. Um, and it's pretty cool. Oh, what's up, Jim Droning? Hope you're having a good night. So I was actually pretty impressed with how this video turned out. So let me know what your thoughts are. So this is smooth slow motion in Final Cut Pro. I thought it was kind of neat that it added like this little, it kind of looks like stop motion. And then I also put a tilt, like a gentle tilt shift on it. So that made the mountains in the background kind of blurry. So it kind of focuses um, in the middle. But I thought this video turned out really, really good. Every once in a while it'll stutter. Um, and I don't know if that's just because my computer's doing a lot, running a live stream and playing a video at the same time. But I thought this turned out really cool. Um, but I could have just flown a mission with the same battery. The quality on this is ridiculous because it was done with photos, not video. So that's the only, in my opinion, benefit of taking pictures as opposed to just speeding up a video. But I thought the optical flow did an amazing job. It's kind of funny. The cars just kind of disappeared. Do you see that van just disappear? I'm going to go back a little bit. There's a van on the road. See if you can get to it. Right. I think it's that road right there. A van shows up and disappears. Here. Oh, no, no. Oh, I guess it did kind of go through. But this is kind of one of those videos where like you'd play Enya in the background or something. But a beautiful day, y'all. I couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day. Anytime there's puffy clouds, I'm all for it. I really, really enjoy puffy clouds. And I didn't get the shadows on the mountains that I saw earlier, so I was a little frustrated at that. I think there's one little shadow coming up, but watching the shadows kind of go on the rolling hills was beautiful when I looked up. The other thing that I might do, I couldn't find my adapter um, to attach my Insta360 X5 to the bottom of my Mavic Pro. I think that's something that I could do where I could just take my drone up to 400 feet and record, do a time lapse with that. And it might have the same effect. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. And the other thing that I wanted to show you guys is I'm going to do kind of a little, kind of a tutorial a little bit because I played around with, I did a mission, I think twice a day, one at the beginning, one at the end. And so what we did there was we, at the ministry, we built a fence to keep their animals in on the farm, and we built a barn. So I wanted to get kind of a close up of the barn, like the dirt area, and in the mission. And so my idea is, and I've done this in the past where I've used waypoints or I've used Paradanafi missions or drone link missions to record multiple videos of the exact same thing and then kind of progress through them on different days. Like, one of them was a nice day and then an overcast day, or I've done them where I've done one in the spring, summer, fall, and winter. But we were only there for a week, so I wanted to do kind of a time lapse of the barn being built, but from the drone on multiple days. So I did a mission, and I'm going to show my screen, and we'll see if it works out. This is Final Cut Pro, so I don't know if it's going to work out. But let's see if we can just show Final Cut Pro. Okay. So this might be too small for you guys. But what's happening here is I have the same mission over and over and over again. You can see that it was muddy in these two shots, not muddy. So I've got different days. There was a couple storms that happened, but I'm going to see if I can play for you the very first mission. And that's not working, is it? Wonder why that didn't work. All right. We're going to do this then. Let's do this. That's probably good enough. So this very first mission, so you can see all the fence posts on the ground, and this will end up on my YouTube channel when I'm finally done with it. But we used a kind of a hole digger to dig all of the fence posts. We got a bunch of fence posts laying on the ground. And then this big dirt area, this is kind of where the animals will be. And this structure over here is the barn. So I've got kind of a view from behind. You can see in the background, there's fog on the mountains and stuff like that. So I do this flyover. And my goal is, what I want to do is I want to kind of chop these missions into little segments. But then right here, I fly over the barn. So I figured I would be able to get a close-up of the barn, kind of a flyover. And then that would be kind of my final shot. And then the last video, I would just keep playing the last video. So that's the plan. And then maybe put Black Mountain, children's home or something like that logo in the sky. Also ended up flying kind of a cool shot here. I wanted to take advantage of this mission since I flew it several days in a row. This is kind of their silo, their barn area. There's actual animals over here, a bunch of goats and geese and stuff like that. And then that's the end of it. So what I want to do just for now is I want to line these videos up. So we're going to take this video right here and we're going to make it translucent. So we're going to take the opacity down a little bit. And you can see it's off. So I'm going to move it up a little bit. I want to move my ticker so it's not screwing everything up. I want to go back and get that bush because that bush is a good marker. This might not work out. All right. Well, I'm not going to line everything up tonight. What I want to do is I want to come. I just want to do this part. So we're going to start here. I'm just going to do a quick time lapse. So I'm going to break, get my break tool, and I'm going to break all of them in the same spot. So what that's going to do is kind of start my time lapse there. And then I want to, at the end, let's just do this. That's not going to work, is it? But let's try it. This might take more effort than I think. All right. And I'm going to kill these top clips so I can let the bottom clip play on. So how long is this clip? 43 seconds long. So how many clips? We got 4. So I can cut 10 seconds. So I'm going to cut this one down to 10 seconds long. About there. This one to 20 seconds. This one to 30 seconds. Oh, that's not good math. All right. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, we're going to make that back at 100%. All right. I don't know if that's going to work out that great, but we're going to throw some transitions on it real quick. Just for kicks. Um, and it'll be better if they're lined up perfectly, but they're not. And then I'm going to go ahead and yeah. And then we're going to export that video. We're going to see what it looks like. All right. So while that is exporting, we'll talk some more. The one of the things that I haven't done yet is I recorded that video in D-Log, and so I didn't add color corrections or anything like that to it. But we finished the video, so let's see what it looks like. So that's what we accomplished in a week. So now I wanted it to be like a time lapse. So let's see if we can make it all time lapsey. So so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to import the file that I just did. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double the speed. And then I'm going to add the focus on it. Oh, I need to show you what I'm doing. All right. So what I've done is I'll just undo everything I just did. So I brought the clip in that I made, and I've come in here and I've doubled the speed. And then I'm going to add a focus to it. And this is just kind of a tilt shift. I'm going to put a keyframe here, and I just want to focus on the barn. And I'm going to bring the amount down to 6 seconds, just so it's there. And I'm going to do the amount for 6 the whole time. So then I'm going to play a little bit. And I'm going to put the focus here, the keyframe. Play a little more. Bring the focus down. Play a little more. Let's see if it. Yep. Play a little more. Bring that focus on the barn. It's still on the barn. Pretty good. Focus there. Focus dead center. All right. All right. The other thing I want to do is I want to add the lookup table to this file. So DJI log. What? That is really, really saturated. All right, so we're going to export this now and see what y'all think about this. Now this is just a quickie. So I will, if I give it a little bit more love, it'll look a lot better. But looks like I've lost a lot of you. I'm down to 5 viewers. So let's see what it looked like. I think that turned out pretty good, y'all. What do y'all think? All right. So I'm going to close that, and then I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys the last thing that I did there. While I was there, since it was a ministry, I wanted to give my talents, volunteer my talents. If there's any marketing material they needed, B-roll, drone footage of their property. I went around and took drone footage of all their buildings, and then walked around with a lady one day, and she let me in all the buildings, and I filmed different pieces of the interior. So if they ever want to like demonstrate their buildings and stuff like that. Um, but the but I showed him one of the pictures that I took of the mudslide. Um, and he said, "Well, can you make a virtual tour of um, the mudslide? We'll let you in all the cabins. Most of the cabins, you could just climb in the windows, or the doors were missing and stuff like that. But they let me in all the buildings, and I went around and did a virtual tour. So I want to show you guys that tonight, and I'll give you guys the link in the chat. This is the virtual tour that I made of the Black Mountain mudslide, and so you can go look there independently. But I'm going to kind of walk through tonight, kind of what I took. So this is a website called Kula. I ended up, while I was on the mission trip, I ended up purchasing a pro plan so that I could batch upload. I don't know if I turn pro off if the virtual tour would still be there. But the Jimmy, the guy that is the director of Black Mountain, he said that they're going before legislation this week, actually tomorrow, and they're looking to get a signature so that they can, so the government will come and clean up this mudslide for them. This is an old 4-H property that is still owned by the government, or owned by the state. I don't know if that's different, and they lease it, but they're trying to get ownership of this property, and they're also trying to get the government to take care of all of, just take care of this mudslide, clean it up so they can rebuild. So a lot of the first shots, the mudslide, I did this with the Air 3S. So I did a sphere. So anybody that has DJI product from the last, I don't know, 4 years, can take a sphere, which is mine took 35 images, I believe, and then stitches it together to make a 360. Um, I was frustrated that it can't take a picture of the top. I should have brought my Paradanafi with me. That still does a better job than the Air 3S. Air 3S definitely takes better pictures, but come on, y'all. Maybe that new drone that nobody can get their hands on, maybe it can look up. But anyway, this was the mudslide. I went all the way up to here. Like I kind of flew through the mudslide. What I love about the Air 3S is it has sensors all around it, so it can go through the trees. Um, but and then I added little hotspots. So each place that there's a hotspot, that's another picture I took. So there's some areas that are just like a little gravel road from of the mudslide, but then there's other areas like here are several football fields kind of going down. So if I click on this, it goes to the next mudslide. And so this website that I made for them is going to give them a great view of what happened. They can put it before the legislation, show exactly what the damage is. A lot of times, when you take pictures with your phone, you're at ground level, and it's really hard to see like what the magnitude of this is. But yeah. So uh, this mudslide that happened in September, there were cars up in trees. Um, there's a lot of um, sand. And from what I understand, there's a geologist that came out and said that the rock from the mountain turned into sand by the time it got to the bottom of the hill. That's how crazy this was. Um, and so um, I want to show you guys this one right here. There's concrete foundation right here, and there's a deck. So there was a building that was about this big, and it was a huge dance hall. Um, and so what they would use this property for, all their volunteers that would come and work, just like we volunteered last week, they would stay on this campground. Our church did our church had a winter retreat here, different things like that. But there was an entire building right here that parts of it are there, parts of it are there, parts of it are down there. Um, it was a huge building, had a nice wood floor. Like there's a lot of the building, they don't even know where it's at. Um, there's this is kind of this is the original 4-H kind of dining hall, and it took out um, half of the building over there. Um, so this is kind of what ground level looks like from here. So this is standing on the concrete. This is kind of that deck or whatever. And yeah, and there's me. um, I was getting pretty tired at this point, so running and hiding behind a tree is something I didn't want to do. I'll go ahead and go in the dining hall. Well, I'll take you down here to the bottom of the hill. So this is kind of where trees like would just hit the side of another tree and stop. And I'm not done adding points. So let me go show you guys what this looks like. So this is a 4-H. It was a 4-H camp. So this is kind of a nice like outdoor kitchen where they would grill out and do archery and stuff like that. And then This is kind of down the hill. So a lot of the mudslide came down into here and went in. I'm not sure if it went in this building at all. They might have cleaned this up a lot. This is what the inside of that room looks like. So there's mud everywhere. So I feel like a lot of this has been cleaned up. And I'm guessing, oh, it came in that side. I forgot. So it didn't come in from the courtyard. The courtyard seems to be all in one piece, but the mudslide came in here. And since it was flooded, this whole place was filled with water. So that's why a lot of these walls are taken apart. This is that back room. You can see they put braces up to kind of hold the roof up while they fix it. This looks like they took all the drywall off because it was rotting. And water, looks like the mudslide came in that door right there. Yeah, so for people that have just kind of come into the chat, I recently lost my job. I lost my job on Monday. And so while I was out there on this mission trip, I was just on this mountainside by myself, taking pictures, doing something that I love doing. I love videoing. I love taking pictures. I love being creative. And I was out there, I was just like, man, I just kind of love this. So one of my ideas, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but one of my ideas was to have a Patreon set up to allow people to donate to me so that I can take that money and go on a trip and offer marketing materials, virtual tours to different ministries around the country when something like this happens. So they're using these pictures that I took to get funding to fix their ministry from the state. Another thing I want to show you guys. So there's a bear right here. It's a stuffed bear. But since this is a campsite that the doors are open and it's in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina, Black Mountain to be exact, I didn't know if that was a real bear or not. So when I walked in, it was, it's this picture looks like it's really lit, but it was really dark in that room. And all I saw was a bear, and I yelled at it to see if it would move, and it didn't move. And then I realized it was just a stuffed bear. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. This is the front porch. So you can see that like there's still rocking chairs just sitting here. And then this is the roof that's been caved in. And what's interesting about this campsite is over here at the left, this is the mudslide. This is the devastation. This was a loop. So all the cabins on this side of the camp, on the right side of the camp, weren't touched. They're beautiful cabins. And then the left side was just destroyed. So there's kind of a before and after going through. I don't know if I got much of the ones that haven't been destroyed, though. This is the front of the dining hall from the ground level. So, and you can tell which ones I took with the Insta360 because I have a full sky. Most of these were done with the X5. Okay, so this is the bottom of the mudslide. And so all the devastation's over here, and this is just beautiful campus on the right. Here is, okay, so this right here is at the bottom of of the mudslide. This is kind of the director of the campground. That's where she lived. And so these are kind of the inside of her house. So as you can see, they've taken all the drywall off of the walls that kind of were soaked in water from um, from the floodwater. There's still Bible verses written on the mirrors. Um, so I feel like I skipped some pictures. Yeah, here's the cabins. So um, so this is cabin one. This is at the bottom of the hill. Um, I had to climb up this ladder to get up into it. Um, a lot of the mudslide had stopped by the time it got to the bottom. So the floor is still pretty well intact on this one. And they might have cleaned out a lot here, but um, um, this is cabin two. This is where it starts getting pretty rough. You can see the water line. You can see the mud on the walls. So this cabin was completely underwater at one point. Or there's a lot of mud splashing on the wall. And so if you go in this cabin, you can see where the mud came in through the door and filled this room. It didn't make it all the way over here, but on this side, oh, I got those wrong. On this side, you can tell that this whole wall panel was pushed in where the window is, and just all the mud came in here. And then this is what the deck looks like in the back. This is where they would like grill out for dinner. And you can see where, like pieces of other buildings have come in and hit this building. I'm not going to show you everything, but I want to show you this cabin here. This is so our church when they went on the winter retreat 2 years ago. This is the cabin that the girls stayed in. So a lot of our youth that went with us, they got to see this campsite and they started crying because they had a lot of good memories here. And then this cabin is completely messed up. Here's a good example of kind of where the water was. So what's left is kind of the bottom of the mudslide. But if you think about like a lake or a river, a creek, or something that's underwater, the water level will be up, several feet, and then all the settlement at the bottom, is like 4 or 5 feet underneath that. So if you look at this cabin right here, I'll zoom in. This cabin right here, I think the water level was up here. And then this is just what was left after the water evaporated. But yeah, I think this is crazy. And to give you kind of an idea, this is what it looks like on the inside. It was a beautiful cabin with wonderful, just wonderful bunk beds. This beautiful green and wood. Our church on one of the mission trips painted all the white ceilings. There's kind of an idea of where the water level was. There's still clothes in here, y'all. There's still just like stuff. This is another shot of the same room. They took all the mattresses out, and I don't think the bunk beds fell over like that. I think this is kind of them in there cleaning. But I wanted to show you this. There's these little yellow things, all these little yellow um, pieces of paper that say that this is uninhabitable and it's against federal law um, to dwell in these buildings. It even says like go in there, without permission. I had permission to go in there, but yeah, I mean this. I don't think this building would fall if I walked in it, um, but yeah, this is just kind of the front porch. Um, and I took another picture of the front porch from the other side, just to show you guys that like that's a door, and this is a light switch right here. That's how high the water level was. Like this cabin was almost completely underwater. Um, and then I think I have one more picture that I really want to show you guys. I don't know where it's at though. Um, so yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. So I'm going to put a video. I'm going to put a video on YouTube about the ministry and put a link to their website so you guys, anybody that feels a need to, um, to donate or whatever. Some of the really cool things about the ministry is, so where a lot of the revenue comes in, they definitely get a lot of, they get money from the state because they're an orphanage. They also get revenue from, there's a coffee shop and a thrift store on the campus. And so they get donations in the thrift store and then they sell stuff in the thrift store to make money for the camp. Obviously, the coffee shop, they sell coffee and pastries and stuff like that. But what's really neat about this ministry is they take these kids in that normally like a lot of kids um, in the when when they don't have parents, they get thrown in the system. A lot of times they get put with families that don't care about them and stuff like that. What this ministry does is it gives them, like I had the opportunity to go into the teenage girls house, and they've all got their pictures on the wall and uh, different things like that. And I only met one of the girls, and she opened the door, and she was so happy to see Amber, the lady that was walking me around and giving me a tour of the complex, and she was so happy. She was so filled with joy. She was talking about her day. Um, they've got a school on campus, so all the kids go to school. They've got teachers and all that. Um, they also have like the thrift store and the cafe that I mentioned. Like the students get to work in those areas. They get to learn, valuable skills, good work ethic. There's power mechanics, uh, or there's a shop, a mechanic shop, so they can work on cars and, they can learn how to, do power mechanics. So a lot of times, kids will go into the system and they, nobody cares about them, so they don't really care about life. And when they get out, a lot of them, don't end up having a good life because they didn't really have much to work with to begin with. This ministry gives those kids, valuable skills that they can take, into the workforce. So it's really, really neat. It's a really neat place. So I'm going to put some videos up, and put links to their website. Um, there's also something I've been thinking about. I don't know if I want to bring strangers into this ministry, but they have they've got a campground there, and well, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm not going to talk about it until I've decided that's going to be a thing. I am looking for a place to do a meetup, um, somewhat like the South Florida drone meetup, um, somewhere near closer to where I live. And I'm really looking at the Smoky Mountains as I had so much fun flying around the mountains. Um, so I'm kind of looking for areas around there. Um, so, but yeah, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you so much for everybody that showed up to my live stream and hanging out. Um, I'm I've got a lot more time on my hands, so I'm gonna just try to do my live stream every Tuesday night from now on. But it's summertime, so there's going to be some camps and there's going to be VBS and different things going on that I might um, cancel a week here and there. But I'm planning on being on here Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central. Um, and yeah, I'm also planning on selling a lot of things, and I really, really want to get the DJI for Ronin 4D. I think I have a feeling I can make that happen. So, but yeah, have a wonderful night, y'all, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace out.